Hello there. Welcome to the Aligned Life podcast. I hope you're doing amazing today. So, in this episode, I'm going to share with you how to create a rock solid mindset or mental health. I'm going to give you guys 6 tips. So, if you're taking notes, that's what we'll cover today. So, the first thing, I've said this for so many of these episodes. I've been saying the same thing over again, but it's worth repeating, of course, for this episode is just know that your mental health is the same thing as your emotional health, and your mental health is also your physical health. Who you are, like everything is connected. You can't just, talk about mental health without talking about emotional health or without talking about physical health because all of those things impact each other and, in a sense, even create each other. So, what I mean by that is your mental health creates your emotional health, as in your thoughts create your feelings. So, if you are in a place right now where you feel like you're not doing well, you're unhappy, you're unsatisfied, you're struggling emotionally, or call it mentally, whatever you would say, know that you need to check in with the contents of your mind. And I've given you guys this exercise over and over and over again because it is so important and so powerful. And so, even if you've done the exercise, I would even encourage you to do it again and to think about right now, what is it that I'm thinking? Because when our thoughts stay stuck in our mind, as in when we just are going about our day, or maybe we just notice like I'm not happy, or I'm not feeling good today, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling worried, or I'm feeling upset, or I'm triggered, or I'm frustrated, and we just kind of maybe notice how we feel. We don't usually take one step back and ask ourselves, what am I thinking? We just might say to ourselves or say to someone else, like, I'm in a bad mood today, or I'm just annoyed, or I'm frustrated, or whatever. We might talk about how we feel, but we need to take the time to think about what we think about. So grabbing your journal, and I know this is like usually the last thing we feel like doing. So you have to be able to be a parent for yourself, and you have to be in control, right? You do what's right for you. You have to do what's best for you, and I'll talk about that with number 6. But like, grab your journal and literally, or even if you don't have your journal, you're somewhere running errands, like if you can just even open up the notes on your phone and just write down, like, what am I thinking? And then just write down a few quick thoughts that are like going through your head. Like, for example, you might be thinking like, excuse me, I'm still kind of like recovering from this cold. So you might have in your mind, I'm thinking the thought that like my coworkers were disrespectful to me today, and that might be, you might go deeper with that and write down like what exactly the specifics of it, right? Or you might be like, I'm frustrated, like I feel like my kids aren't listening to me, or um whatever. But like, write down what it is that you are thinking. There's a specific thought, and a thought is a sentence. It's a sentence in your mind that you are thinking, that you're telling yourself, and that thought is creating a feeling, it's creating a state inside of you. So when you just make that connection, it's very powerful. And then from there, you can just even see, like, okay, is this thought even true? Right? Like, can I be 100% certain? This is from Byron Katie. Can I be 100% certain that this is even true? Most of the time, our thoughts are really just our opinions, okay? And again, a lot of times we don't want to admit that because we want to be right, and we really feel entitled to our thoughts. But like, maybe you're thinking like, so and so was disrespectful to me, or so and so, um, you know, seemed like they were, you might have a thought like, oh, they were short with me or something. And it's like, can I be 100% certain about this? And like, maybe it is true that they were short with you, but like, do you know exactly why? Like a lot of times we personalize it, we think it's about ourselves, and it's like, is it really about me, or could it be about everything that's going on in their life and within what they're thinking or what they're dealing with, right? So it's really helpful to like give people the benefit of the doubt, because that's what we would want when we're having an off day, when we're feeling frustrated or tired or um, upset about something, and we're, let's say, short with someone else. We want people to give us the benefit of the doubt and to be like, oh, she didn't have a good sleep, her kids were up all night or something like that, right? And we want people to kind of think about how this isn't really who we are, right? This one moment, but then we don't always do that for other people. And so you need to be able to think about that and to do that, and to remember that like even if someone is disrespectful or short with you or whatever, it's really not about you. This is Don Miguel Ruiz's work, the Four Agreements, and it's always a reflection of what's going on in their mind and in their life and with their thoughts and their belief systems and all of that. So don't make it about you. And that's a challenge. That's a lifelong, it's lifelong work, really. And some people it's going to be way easier to do that. And some people, we have maybe more work to do with certain people, or we're maybe harder on certain people or whatever. So that's one thing that I just really want to focus on. And like, this is 99% of mental health, is just this first thing, this first piece that I'm giving you, is just know that your thoughts are not truth. I have 2 podcast episodes on this topic. I have a huge section inside of my membership on the mindset and on understanding our thoughts and our belief systems, and how they make us feel, and how that's responsible for the actions that we take and the results that we produce and all of that. So like, it's very important work, because this is essentially your life, right? How you think and how you feel, and what you do or what you don't do, like that is your life. So this is really important work, even though it sounds kind of like maybe fluffy stuff, or oh, personal growth must be nice to do that. Like, personal growth is literally everything when it comes to your life. It's going to determine the quality of your life that you have, is the amount of work that you do on yourself and your mind and your consciousness, your perceptions about things. Um so take the time to understand what is going on inside of the mind, because like I said earlier, it's a lot of times we just think about how we feel, and we don't ever ask ourselves, well, what am I thinking? And a lot of times we just blame other people. Like, I'm upset because this person. I'm upset because they said that, they did this, they didn't do that. When we need to be able to take ownership for how we feel. No one can make you feel any way. It's actually your thoughts about the circumstance, about the person, about what they said, about what they didn't say, about what they didn't do. And so we need to take responsibility for our thoughts. And sorry, I think I heard somebody at the door. We're good. We'll just the dog's not here, so he's not going crazy, which is a good thing. Um, so that's the mind piece, the mental and the emotional piece. And like I said, the physical health is like so connected to that as well. And so I will talk about it, even though, like, as number one, even though this could have its own piece. This could be like number two, but we'll keep it in number one, because I'm saying that mental health is physical health, and physical health is also emotional health, and it's all connected, right? So, like, one of the most important things that you can do is you can get your body in order. Get your physical health in order. It is way easier to have better mental and emotional health when you are taking care of yourself, when your body is healthy, strong, feels good, nourished, you got proper sleep. Um, I can think back to when especially my first two girls, but like really just like having my daughters and them being babies and waking up multiple times throughout the night, like those were the hardest times for me mentally and emotionally because my physical health um like took a bit of a toll just because I wasn't getting proper sleep, and your sleep is so connected to, of course, your mood. And um and then also, you're not getting a good night's sleep, so then you're craving energy in the form of maybe like a sugary coffee or processed food or whatever it is. So, like, make sure that you are doing what you can to take care of yourself. And I know that different phases of life will um, ask for more or less of your time and your energy. And excuse me, and it's not always easy to take um, you don't know, sometimes, especially as a mom, you don't always have, things can go unplanned, right? You can wake up early and try to get in your yoga practice, and then your kids wake up and, they're toddlers and they need your attention, or you're just like having to hold them and you can't maybe do the practices, whatever. I have been there and I totally get that. And I will say that that is a phase of life. It doesn't last forever, even though it feels like it does. But like, some phases of life and whatever, it's easier to take care of yourself, and there's harder times as well. So know that nothing lasts forever, and this is a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. If you're going through a good phase of your life right now, like, that's also not going to last forever. You're going to experience challenges. And I would also just add to that, like, when we talk about mental health, is like, a lot of times we have this belief that, like, we should feel good all of the time. It's an underlying belief in all of society, is that I'm not feeling good, so something is wrong. And that isn't true. And one of the most life-changing things that I didn't want to accept for a while, I heard from Brooke Castillo, Life Coach School podcast. And I remember her saying that life is 50-50, as in half of your life approximately is going to be positive, and half of your life approximately is going to be negative. And I remember being like, oh, that's depressing. That sucks. But like, when you actually think about it, it is true. And there's like, we're not guaranteed to feel good all the time. We're not guaranteed for life to be fair or to even necessarily make sense, right? And so when we have these belief systems like, I'm going through a hard time and so this isn't fair or whatever, like, those are things that cause us even more pain on top of our pain. So this is us creating suffering. I have a lesson on this inside of the Aligned membership, pain versus suffering. And so you need to remember that we make things worse for ourselves when we are caught up in these thought errors, you could call it, or limiting beliefs, where we're thinking like, everything should be fair. So if I'm going through a hard time, other people should be, or if this is something that I'm experiencing, other people should have to go through this or shouldn't have more than me, or whatever it is that creates this suffering inside of us and this pain inside of us. So that's always something to check in with, is like, what am I um, believing about even feeling bad? Like why, if you are resisting negative emotion, you have to be able to have acceptance for it. If you resist it, you create more negative emotion. It's a really weird paradox of life, and um, thinking that we can try to avoid it. Though avoiding it actually makes it worse and actually prolongs it. So just having acceptance, like, oh, I didn't, get the job that I wanted. I applied for it and I didn't get it. Like being okay with it and sitting with your negative emotion helps it, let's say, go away or helps you move through it. Like the only way to the other side is just going through it and like trying to avoid it. You just create more problems for yourself. And a lot of people will do that. They'll either, try to distract themselves. They didn't get the job, let's say for this example. So then they go like online shopping and now they're feeling bad about spending money that they didn't want to spend, or they go out for drinks and then they overdrink and now they have a headache and they wasted the day away because they were hungover, or you come home and you just pig out on food and now you're feeling guilty and shameful because you ate a bunch of food that you don't normally eat, but you were doing it to try to avoid emotion, right? So when you can't accept negative emotion, you will buffer it away in a way that just creates more problems for yourself. So again, I'm going to say this again. There's another lesson inside of the Align membership that talks about this. That talks about buffering and learning how to feel emotion, just feeling it, just letting it be there, noticing how it feels in the body, noticing where it is, and allowing it to leave, because that is the natural way of emotions. Is it to flow, right? So like I said, you can be guaranteed that a bad time is never going to last forever, and you can be guaranteed that a good time also isn't always going to last forever, but another good time will come around, right? Like so just remember that this is the way that life flows, this is the way that it's supposed to be. And that's something that's helped me a lot, even though it maybe sounds like more depressing. It's actually helped me a lot, emotionally, to know these things. So back when I'm jumping around, but let's just go back to physical health for a second. And I want to just remind you, like, if it's like, let's say it's like 8 o'clock at night and you've just had kind of a crap day and you're just not feeling good. And the best thing that you can really do is to just go to bed when you can go to bed. So if you're a mom, you've got kids, like just get your kids to bed and then you just go to bed. Don't stay up, don't scroll on your phone, don't watch a movie, just go to bed, because that sleep is going to benefit you so much. You're going to wake up feeling so refreshed. You're going to like maybe even kind of chuckle at yourself for like feeling uh so maybe down and out the day before, and you'll be like, wow, like things aren't that bad, it's all good, like I'm feeling better now. A good night's sleep is super important. Like try not to, if you're mad at someone, like just don't talk to them. Just give yourself some space, go to bed, and wake up. You will wake up with a new perspective. You will wake up feeling refreshed and kind of like a clean slate. So that's something, if it's the time of day where you can just go to bed, do that. If it's not close to bedtime, go for a walk, move your body, go to the gym, roll out your yoga mat. Um, do a hard workout. Sometimes when we're too much in our head, we need to just get into our body and just move our body, move that energy. So that's been a huge thing for me. And again, not always possible depending on your schedule, your kid's schedule. Like, I know that one's not always possible either. But if you can, take your kids for a walk, even, or whatever, just getting outside in nature. I've said this before, but like just looking up at the sky and noticing how big it is can help sometimes you have a new perspective of like what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're going through. And just sitting outside, grounding or walking or running or whatever, those are things that will be very helpful for you mentally to help you shift your state. And again, it's not that you're just trying to only be in a good mood, but like sometimes I've said this so many times too on the podcast, but like a lot of times we feel more negative emotion than we need to because we stay stuck in those thoughts and we get like caught up in thinking that we're right or thinking that somebody shouldn't have done what they did or somebody shouldn't have said that, like, and so we just get so caught up in that. So make sure that you notice if you're just looping on some thoughts and some beliefs, and just try to move that energy, move your body, will be a good thing. And then like, cook yourself a healthy meal. Treat yourself well. Your body is connected to your soul. If you're not treating your body well, you're not treating your soul well. If you're not treating your body well, you're not treating your mind well. So treat your body well. Um, Eat something nourishing, move your body if you can, and get solid rest that night, and just notice how you might feel like a completely different person the next day. Okay, we'll go through these other ones a little quicker, because that one was, it's just a big topic, and it's like I said, like 99% of taking proper care of your mental health is in this first point that I said. So number 2, disconnect from social media and connect with real life people. When you're struggling, if this is something, maybe it's just like one day, but if this is something that's kind of going on for a while, you feel like you're kind of stuck in a rut or you're not in a great place, like shift up your schedule. A lot of times people are just spending way too much time um, with instant gratification type behaviors. So social media, TV, um, highly palatable food, like those types of things, really check in with how much time and energy you've been putting into that, and switch it up and connect with people in real life. And go and, like I said, exercise, do something for yourself. That will make a huge difference for you and how you feel. But a big thing is social media, and that's going to like have a negative impact on how you are thinking about yourself and feeling about your life, because we get so caught up in comparison without even really realizing it, comparing ourselves to other people, and oh, they just went on a vacation and I'm not, or they just got this and I don't have that, and it can really play with how you feel about yourself and your life. So just remember that it's a highlight reel. You don't know how they feel. And it's not that we're wishing negative emotion on other people, but just remember that everyone experiences about 50% positive and about 50% negative emotion, and they are no different than you. So like, again, it's not that we want that for people, but sometimes we think like we're the only one that's going through a hard time or that's feeling negative, and that's not true at all. Other people are going through the same types of thoughts, the same types of maybe limiting beliefs, negative emotion. People, no one can escape from that. And in a weird way, maybe that helps you feel comfort. It's not that we're wishing that on people, but like it's just something that we're all going to experience because we're all human, and this is a part of the human experience. And it kind of goes back to like suffering, having pain about your pain creates more pain for yourself, thinking that like, oh, other people are so happy and I'm not. It's like no, those are just beliefs that aren't true. Those are just your mind offering you unhelpful thoughts that are not true. Just because you're thinking something doesn't mean it's true. Number 3, go do something nice for someone else. And so I will caveat this by saying like sometimes women can be maybe like people pleasers, and we can get caught up too much in doing things for ourselves and neglecting ourselves. And so make sure that you're not neglecting yourself. But like a lot of times, this is just like another truth, is that a lot of times we will feel a lot better when we just stop having our own pity party and just do something nice for someone else, or like thinking about, you don't have to do this, but like thinking about somebody who maybe has it maybe a little bit harder than us. Like, how can we go and help them? How can we be more loving and giving and sharing to other people? Or how can we be of service? It doesn't even have to be like, it doesn't even have to be something like charity type of thing. It can be even in your work that you're doing. How can I add value in my life to other people? Because when you are putting in effort, remember I've said this many times, the hard work you do always benefits you, even if other people are benefiting from it too. this is great. This is what we want. We want to add value to the world, to other people, because that's going to help us feel fulfillment. It helps us feel satisfied. So there's a concept in Kabbalah called bread of shame, and it's about getting things without putting in effort. It makes you feel ashamed. So you can think about people who maybe have, um, like, let's say, like, the example that I learned was people who have like really wealthy parents, and if they got everything handed to them, you might think like, what's wrong with this person? They're throwing their life away. They're alcoholic, or they're doing drugs, or they're totally lazy, and all they do is like play video games all day. And you might think like, how did this happen? And it's because they have this shame on them, of getting things handed to them without them having to put in effort or like work for it. So as humans, like spiritually speaking, but also just really practically, like we need to put in effort for us to feel good about ourselves and about our life. And humans like creating things. We like working on projects. We have this ego desire to consume, but a soul desire to create. So that's going to be more important and bigger and more necessary for us if we want to lead fulfilling lives. We want to have a strong, healthy mental health. We need to be building and creating and adding value to the world. Number 4, stop thinking about what's wrong with you. So a lot of times we have, in our world right now, everyone is like overly diagnosed, overly labeled, and we claim to be these negative states, as in people will be like, I'm an anxious person. This is just the way that I am. I'm just anxious, or I'm just a worry wart, or I've always been like this. And we like claim it when that's not true, right? The human experience is for us to experience all emotions. So yes, maybe you do experience anxiety, but you also experience happiness. You also experience fulfillment. You also experience sadness, right? Like there's everything. You experience it all. Excuse me. And so it's important to remember that you're just experiencing emotions based on what you are thinking. So if you spend a lot of time thinking anxious thoughts, worrying about people, thinking about how people did you wrong, you're going to experience the vibration of those thoughts, whether that's anxious, sadness, worry, anger. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So that's always going to be the case, because it's always your thoughts that create your feelings. And this is universally true. There's never a time when that's not true. It's always true. Number 5, unsubscribe from any relationships that aren't good for you. So any relationships where you feel like you're having to compete with this person, or they're jealous of you, or you're jealous of them, or they're cynical, or you guys bond over like sarcastic type things, like really that's not going to be good for your mental health. And no matter who this person is or how long you've known this person, you really want to either unsubscribe from that relationship or change the vibration of that relationship, and like have a conversation or about why you're not like going to talk about that or going to be doing that. But if you're like connecting by complaining with somebody, it's not healthy. That's not healthy. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your emotional health. And it's not going to it's not going to help you create the type of life that you want. So unsubscribe from those types of conversations and possibly those types of relationships if you need to, because the most important thing is that you're doing what's best for you and not like worrying about how someone else is going to take it. Like you have to do what's best for you. Number 6, last one, be truthful with yourself about like what's not aligned in your life and actually do something about it. So you have to be the parent, like I've already said, be the parent that you need to be for yourself in the relationship that you have with yourself. So if you like know that you are having like foods that aren't doing well for you. Like you need to be able to change that. If you know that there's a certain behavior that you have or whatever that's not helping you, be honest with yourself and have those honest conversations about how you can change that, like why you haven't changed that, why you keep like engaging in these types of behaviors or whatever. It's really important that you be truthful about your part in it because this is your life. So you need to be truthful about how you are creating it or why it's coming up for you and what you need to, what's your part in it showing up in your life. Why are you attracting that? Why are you engaging with that? Why are you accepting less than what you want if that's the case for you? You have to be having those honest conversations with yourself. So I know I kind of rushed through these last 5, but I wanted to just keep this episode on the shorter side. Like I've mentioned, everything that has to do with your mental and emotional health. I talk a lot about inside of the Aligned membership. So if this is the work that you're wanting to do, you should definitely join us. Weekly group coaching, tons of resources, instant access to all of the information, personal growth programs, live and recorded hypnosis. There's so much value inside of the membership. So definitely check it out or reach out with any questions that you have if you want to take this work deeper. So thanks so much for listening, and I will chat with you next week. Take care.